This is something you've never seen in motorsport. A car traveling so fast that it takes flight. It's part of a race that pushes engineers, teams, and drivers to their absolute limits. 22 drivers have died in racing here. The darkest day in motorsport was here too, when more than 80 spectators were killed. So what is so special about this race? This is the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and it's more than just a race. It's one of the most prestigious events in motorsport. It's the longest running endurance race on Earth, and has been the ultimate testing ground for the automotive world. After the World Cup and the Olympic Games, it's the biggest sporting event on the planet. But how did the 24 Hours of Le Mans become such an iconic race? How much is it worth? And why has it been essential for engineering? To answer that, first we have to go back almost 150 years. At the 1878 Exposition Universelle de Paris, something called La Mancelle was first unveiled to the world, a steam-powered car which could reach speeds of over 25 miles per hour. This was one of the earliest cars ever, and it got its name from Le Mans, a city 100 miles west of Paris where its inventor was born. From then on, the car industry exploded, and 28 years later, when the very first French Grand Prix was held in 1906, Le Mans was where the race began and ended. The Grand Prix quickly moved on to other parts of the country, but a man named Georges Durand was inspired to bigger ideas for the city. Instead of a short sprint like a Grand Prix, he wanted an event that would test which car was the most reliable, the most durable, and the highest performer over long distances. And in 1923, a new competition was ready, the 24 du Mans, better known by its English name, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Cars raced through Le Mans, taking closed public roads toward the town of Mulsanne, before wrapping around back to complete the 10.7-mile long loop. The first version declared a winner from 3 years of races, but by 1928 it was simplified. Teams would compete for a single goal: to drive the furthest distance possible in 24 hours. This format was a huge hit. Just 6 years later, 45 cars were lining up on the grid to take part, and after a break during World War II, the event grew even bigger. 200,000 people turned out for the first race back. Then, in 1955, catastrophe struck. In front of 300,000 people, a Mercedes flew off the course, crashing into the crowd in a fiery explosion. 84 people were killed. The French government demanded huge changes, major safety upgrades like barriers, grandstands, and pits, but it was allowed to continue. Apart from tragedy, Le Mans has been a stage for motorsport's most legendary moments. 1966 was the infamous showdown between Ford and Ferrari. After Ferrari bailed out of a takeover deal, Ford devoted itself to a single mission: beating Ferrari at Le Mans. The odds were against them. Ferrari had won the last 6 races, but Ford created a GT40 to go toe-to-toe with Ferrari's 330 P3, and spectacularly, the Americans won the event. The battle inspired books, documentaries, and the recent film Ford v Ferrari. Battles like this have grown the prestige of the event over the years and lured 22 Formula One champions to enter the race, with only 5 ever winning. They have all chased the elusive Triple Crown of motorsport, which involves winning Le Mans, the Indianapolis 500, and the F1 World Championship. There's no reward for the Triple Crown. It's all about honor. But huge events like Le Mans don't run on honor. So, how has the region cashed in on it? And what is the race really worth? The name Le Mans is known worldwide, associated with motorsport and elite competition. The South government uses the race to advertise itself as a place with technological values, or in other words, modern. South creates something called a technopark for the event, inviting around 100 companies from the mechanical and motorsports industries to attend. This is important because these industries account for more than 1 in 4 jobs in the region. But the brand value is where Le Mans is, where the real money is. It uses 2 things: history and popularity. Just take this Ferrari 250 LM. It raced in the 1963 Le Mans and sold this year for $36 million. And the circuit is often rented out for film shoots, most famously the 1971 film Le Mans starring Steve McQueen. That's the value of history. Then there's the continued popularity of the event. Last year, the Le Mans broadcast had a record 113 million people tune in from 196 countries. Even a virtual version of the race had over 22 million viewers. These numbers are incredibly valuable to advertisers. To get an idea, the World Endurance Competition offers sponsorship opportunities ranging from $500,000 to $5 million. And because of Le Mans' unmatched history, it's at the highest end of that scale. In person last year, 329,000 people attended Le Mans. Adding up tourism, advertising, and other fees, the direct economic benefit is estimated at $130 million. That's almost double the value of hosting a Champions League final. And while there is no exact figure for the brand value of Le Mans, in 2010, it was ranked the top sporting event in the world by National Geographic. That was higher than the Olympics and the World Cup, which have been valued at $11 billion and $7 billion respectively. Car manufacturers can see the value of Le Mans too, and not always in the ways you might think. Success on the racetrack is the ultimate advertisement. It associates top drivers and iconic events with a car brand. And when it comes to Le Mans, Porsche is the most successful team ever, having won it 19 times. And during its 1980s period of dominance, Porsche cashed in with a genius "Nobody's Perfect" ad. More directly, Porsche is planning to release a road-legal version of the Porsche 963, which is a Le Mans hypercar. The teaser video on YouTube was viewed over 1 million times. But Porsche says the main reason for racing isn't advertising or selling cars, it's actually to improve their technology. Nothing pushes a product more than motorsport. No amount of road testing or even track testing can equate to 24 hours at Le Mans. And it's not only Porsche. Le Mans has impacted cars in ways you probably never realized, revolutionizing automotive technology. To understand, we have to talk about which cars are allowed to race at Le Mans. The 24 hours of Le Mans is split into different categories, meaning a different winner for each, and then a champion of the entire race. The most powerful are prototype cars. These are cars that aren't available to the average buyer. They are specifically made for racing and to push forward technology. Today, they are broken into 2 categories. The first is hypercars. These are Le Mans hypercars and Le Mans Daytona hybrid. They are usually the fastest cars at Le Mans. The Ferrari 499P is an example of a Le Mans hypercar and costs around $5.7 million. A Porsche 963, which is a Le Mans Daytona hybrid, costs about $2.8 million. The second category is the Le Mans Prototype 2. These are significantly slower than the hypercars. At last year's qualifying, the fastest LMP2 car qualified 9 seconds slower than the fastest hypercar. The final category is Le Mans Grand Touring 3. These must be based on mass production road car models that are being built and sold. Last year, the fastest LMG T3 car went 30 seconds slower than the hypercar per lap. The 24 hours of Le Mans started as a way to road test new cars. And across these 3 categories, it gives manufacturers the perfect testing ground for new technology. In 1927, the first car with front-wheel drive was unveiled at the Circuit de la Sarthe. The car was known as Tracta and finished in 7th place. 22 years later, Renault was the first to put an engine in the back of a car for the first time. and won the next year. Fast forward to the late 1960s, and evolution was focused down closer to the ground: the tires. The very first slick tire, the kind that Formula One cars now use, was unveiled. In the 1970s, an oil crisis led to changes in refueling regulations, forcing manufacturers to make more fuel-efficient products. In 1998, one of the first modern hybrid race cars was tested at Le Mans. Even safety measures like seatbelts and windscreen wipers were also tested at Le Mans. So next time you jump into your car for a drive, know that from the tires up to the windscreen wipers, most of it has been shaped by Le Mans. From the first French Grand Prix when motorsport was still evolving, to revolutionizing automotive technology and building a $1 billion brand, Le Mans has clung on to be the last remaining great endurance race in the world. Both tragedy and glory have helped make the event a mythical part of motorsport, and a brand money can't buy. But there is one city, 450 miles away, that threw millions at a wild idea. Something no one thought was possible: to have the world's first street circuit. The craziest thing is that it worked, and became the crown jewel of Formula One. To find out how tiny Monaco came to host the world's most famous car race, click the thumbnail on the screen now.